So just some quick facts of the great gray. Again, it's the tallest forest owl with the largest wingspan. They're roughly about 6 feet when they spread wing to wing. Took the ranger district, we just got a new ranger, and he went out with me the other day. And interesting story that we go out around the corner up by Crawfish Lake, and here this giant owl takes off flying through this meadow, and the first thing he says is, "Holy crap, that's a big owl." And I basically said the same thing, and you know, as soon as I saw it, I knew what it was. So it was pretty special for us to see it together. It was his first. But again, the first thing that comes to mind when you see one, if you've never seen one before, is that's a big owl. And a lot of people think, well, they're not as big as the great horned owl, right? Because it's the great horned owl. But frankly, they're about a quarter size bigger than the great horned. They're local resident year-round here in the Highlands, which is pretty special. So they don't migrate like the snowy owls do. Snowies go from the tundra clear down into the States. Great grays will stay fairly local. They might change elevationally a little bit, but for the most part, they're year-round resident. This is a really important fact and kind of a unique fact about great grays is they're a secondary nester. What's a secondary nester mean is they don't build their nest. They will literally not even take a stick and fluff up the pillow, per se. They rely completely on what is there in nature or what one of their forest raptor abandons the year before. Okay, so they really need help from either Mother Nature providing a platform or from abandoned stick nests. With the largest wingspan, they go after some really tiny pieces of food in the form of small prey. A great horned owl, they'll take your cat, right? The great gray owl, they go after some of the smallest forest prey out there. So again, that's kind of a unique thing. You'd think the largest owl out in the forest would go after some big stuff, right? And it's not the case with the great grays. They really key in on those little species like mice and stuff like that, and we'll get into that later. But for such a large owl, they go after really small prey. So Washington is in the southern extent of its range, and it doesn't just stop in Washington, but it's primarily a northern boreal owl, and British Columbia, all through Canada and into the Yukon and Alaska. There's a lot of owls, but Washington and some other western states are in the southern extent of its range. And again, why I'm here, the Okanagan Highlands area is thought to have the largest population in Washington. No one has ever really confirmed that, but through anecdotal evidence, there's not another place in Washington where if a renowned birder were to want to go find a great gray, they would come here, okay? And they would come right here to the Highlands. So we live in a really special place. So let's talk a little bit about where they are in their range. Again, Washington's in the southern extent of the range, which is right in here. And again, they just frequent the northern boreal zone, but they are coming down into western and central Oregon and then eastern Oregon and northeastern California, northern Idaho, and then western Montana down into Yellowstone, down into the Wyoming and Yellowstone area. And I was in Yellowstone this summer, and just about every tourist shop you went into, a little trinket shop you went into, here was a big frame picture of a great gray owl. So obviously they're an icon for a lot of people, and boy, once you see one, you'll never forget it. So again, we're right here, southern extent And again, year-round, summer breeding, they don't migrate much.